Everybody, let me talk in this video how we could insert data in the database. So I need someone when enter his username and password, the data will be inserted in the database. We talked in a previous video how we could create database and how we done everything. So make sure you are already seen the previous video. So now I want to insert. So let me suppose I will provide public method will return long, and this method will be for insert. This will be insert data. So what the insert will take? Insert will taking some value to add them in the database. So I will say content value. This way, content value, making sure so I will say values. This is the values that my content or this method will get it, and then insert the database. So how I inserted the database? This is my database instance. This is my database. I open it for writable. So okay, I will say SQL database dot. What I will say insert. He asked me about the table name. Which table I want to insert in? You remember this is my table name. See how I'm flexible now in working. Second parameter, I will not pass anything on it. He asked about, I think, the hacking I want. Wow, I don't know. Wow. Third parameter, the values that I want to insert it in this table. So this method will return long. If it is, if he could insert, he will return long for the ID of the user. ID of the user he inserted. Otherwise, he will return 0. So I will make sure return the ID. Do you understand me? So if it is, if he could insert ID is user ID, or fail ID is less than 0, or equal less or equal 0, maybe 0, maybe less than or equal 0. So okay, now this is method for insert. Let me go to main activity. I have this 2 button. When I click add, this data will be added in the database. So I already implemented the method for this. So main activity, here is it, and this is for button save. So button save, I'm taking text 1, text 2, just making sure this DB manager I make it public so I could access to it from any place. Here you go. DB manager will be public. I will take this one and initialize DB manager. Now I want to call insert. I say okay, DB manager dot insert, please insert data. Insert will be capital. This is insert. Insert will take number of values that I want to insert them in the database. So now you have to understand how the content value work. If you go back, see here I have content value. So before I'm sending this data, I have to define the content value. Say content value. I will say values equal a new instance of from content value. So I say new from content value. Here you go. Then I add some values. How I could insert the values? It depends on the column. So I will say okay, put. So what I have to put? The key and value. Key and value. So what the key and what the value? See, what I want to access here, I have here key, name it, column name, column username. I will say okay, for the column DB manager column username, this one, in the field of the username, add this data. So I will say edit text dot get text dot to string. That's great. I just changing something to string. Also, I would another values in the database. I will say put. Yeah, that's great. I will say DB manager, same thing, dot column. I also have column, but now I have column for the password. Okay, for column password, add edit text for password, then get text, sure, get text, then to string. This look like insert into table value for 2 field, but it's more easy and you could avoid injection using this one. So okay, I decide I put in the first column for username, I would first text, and for column for password, I will add the data for the password. Then I could just pass these data to my insert method. I know this method will return long for me. So if you say long result, you could say our long ID. I could pass it. Then I just go down. I say okay, if the ID greater than 0, that is yes, the item is inserted. So I say to us dot make text get application context. I would pass user ID, then I pass the ID that I have it, then I say to us dot long to us dot this one. I don't know why also always I miss this one, then I will show the message. Otherwise he failed. I would say message cannot insert. Else I would say cannot insert this way. Cannot insert or fail insert or whatever you want to give it name. Just make sure I'm adding this everything is one. I'll say that data is added and user ID is something. Here you go. Now if I want to run and see if you could insert data to the table, so the content value, I mean the value that you insert, let me check first before I'm talking about content value. Here you go, data is added, user ID is 1. If I now added another user, I would add Jenna, and the password I say any password, say register, data added user ID is 2. If I say Leia, the password will be whatever, say you say data added is user 3. So what I do in content value, I'm sending column and value. If I have username, I send for username and the value. For the column name, make sure same name you have in the database. So if you see, I have here column for name it username. So I use it here as a column name in the database as a variable, and I also use it here when I want to send content value as username. So here we will not do any mistake when we work. If I want to see the real database here and see what's happening on, let me just rerun the previous command for pulling data from the server and make sure how it's going. If is he success to bring all this data for me? Yeah, I think here is it. Arroba demo off. No, this one will be, I think. Yes, Arroba demo app. This one, Android work, I think. Yes, I have database now. I have student. If I go to student, open with app, not app from the store. I make sure app open with other app. I will select SQLite, and I have to see some data in the login. So if I say browse data, here you go, login. I have Hussein, Jenna, Leia. Now I inserted that in the database. Thank you for watching and see you next.